called Caroline Namtebi, working with Child Health and Development Center, Makerere University, with Parenting for Respectability program. A program that we have been implementing for a while. It is a research, but also we implement it as well. Manual we tested because we started with 21 sessions, but through the process of testing, by the time we were doing the before and after evaluation, we had 16 sessions. So why parenting for respectability? It draws from a research that was done by some members of the team where they found out that parents had something particular that motivated them to raise their children, that motivated the outcomes they desired from their children, and that was respect. Parents were very motivated with children that had good behavior, that hand them respect at home, but also respect within the community. That is where the name comes from. So fathers especially are so keen to see that the people at home, the things they do, how they relate with others, they all earn the father respect. So in this program, we were trying to address 4 main themes. That is bonding and attachment. That is how parents and children relate at home. And then gender socialization, how we raise boys and girls, how men and women relate in their families, and achieving good behaviors and respect through positive discipline. That is looking at the disciplining strategy, but also looking at where did it come from. The way you discipline your children, does it just happen? Does it come from the way you are raised yourself? Are you copying it from someone? Is it because someone is telling you to do this? So participants have an opportunity to sit and reflect. And then the other theme is spousal relationship. Also start to forge ways on things they can improve for a better relationship. So for the before and after evaluation for the study that we have just been doing, we had about 600 parents with about 50 couples. And other parents joined as single parents, especially the women, but also fathers. Fathers joined the program when their wives were engaged in other activities. So we are happy for what we are seeing now. We see parents bonding with their children better. We realize some parents realize something interesting, and that is play. Before, they thought that play it was not planned. Parents did not need to have time to ask children to go and play. But after participating in the program, parents now decided to purpose get involved into children's play because it helps them have time to talk with the children, but also give them time to play. They also realize the value of working together with children and not giving instructions. And so we see a mother here working well with the children in the family. With the gender socialization, they saw the need to engage both boys and girls in the household chores, but also relating with them the same way. Fathers relating with their girls at home, but also mothers relating with their sons at home. All these were very interesting aspects of the study. And then we saw couples working together, couples talking more, like here, working in the garden together, working to take care of their animals together, talking about the future, what they want their children to achieve together. When we would be doing the research, one group to another, we would normally hear parents say, we now want to live like we have 3 months. We want to dedicate more time to building our relationships with our children, but also with our partners. We want to thank all the participants in Kachiri, in Katabi, in Sisa, in Entebbe, where we have had this program, for your participation, for your sharing your outcomes after participating in this program. We want to say thank you, and we want to encourage you to continue practicing the changes that you saw are positive. We saw the program was very interesting very interested in bringing fathers on board. And now we see fathers coming on board to participate in the raising up of their children, to participate in children's play, to participate supporting the mother even in the chores that they used not to do. I want to thank the team from Child Health and Development Center, Makerere University, the team from Medical Research Council in Tebe, the team from the Social and Public Health Science Unit, University of Glasgow, UK, and lastly, would like to appreciate our funders, that is the Bernard Lee Foundation, the Sexual Violence and Research Initiative, that is MRC South Africa, who give us funds through a foundation for the support they have given us during the 5 years of implementing this program, but also for the teamwork that we have had because we have been working as a team. Thank you so much. And now let us continue.
Welcome back from those flashbacks. Now can we get some volunteers to narrate the time they were punished? Yes, ma'am. My name is Miriam Naranga Seguya. There's a moment that I can never forget in my life. It was about 6:30 a.m. and I had delayed to wake up for the morning chores. My mother rushed to my room and poured a basin of water on me. I jumped up from the bed, but I was already so wet, including all my beddings. She justified her actions with the fact that I had delayed to wake up. I felt so very hurt by what she had done to me and held it against her for a long time. Please explain whether that punishment forced or encouraged you to change your behavior. That punishment forced me to change my behavior because it is on that day that I swore never to sleep beyond time. Yes, Mr. Kakoza? My father had assigned me to do some digging in the garden. However, when he returned home, he found me playing football with my friends. He called me and gave me a very terrible beating that got my left hand paralyzed. Additionally, he demanded that I go to the garden and dig as he had earlier on instructed. It was hard for me to dig with the paralyzed hand, so I swore never to play football before accomplishing tasks given by my father. Did that punishment force you to change your behavior, or did it help you to learn the right behavior? I was forced to change my behavior. Yes, madam. I remember a time during my primary 4. My mother instructed me to prepare potatoes and bitter berries, commonly known as ntula, as lunch for the family. I picked out the right saucepan for such a meal, and unfortunately, it had holes at the bottom. I had no other choice but to cook using the saucepan. However, water kept spilling in the fire stove. I tried all methods to ensure that water did not spill in the fire, but it was all in vain. My mother did not even come to help me out. When time came, she asked me to take the food to her so that she could serve it. When she unwrapped the saucepan, all the food was so grey and none could eat it. She beat me so bad, and I kept on wondering whether it was my responsibility to buy new saucepans. Now, how did you feel after being punished? So very bad, especially since it was not my responsibility to buy new saucepans. If the saucepans were fine, I would have cooked the food very well. There was no way I could have cooked that food when water was spilling in the fire, so I felt so unfairly punished. How old were you by then? About 10 years. Okay, can we get another person? My name is Kibalama Samuel. I joined a bad group of boys while in primary 3. We had a tendency of looking around for jackfruits in the evening, so we would always miss evening classes. When I received my report card at the end of the term, my teacher had commented that I missed the evening classes. He also remarked that I should try P4 instead of stating that I was promoted to P4 or primary 4. My mother begged me so fiercely that I never brought home a bad report card again. Did the punishment force you to change your behavior or encourage you to change your behavior? Do you think that was the only way of correcting you? I did not know whether she had other ways. Leave alone that time. Let's talk of now. Do you think what she did was the best she could have done? I think it would have been if she had talked to me instead of beating me so bad. Is there any other person? Yes, ma'am. My name is Nalbega Prosi. When I joined primary 7, my mother sent me to stay with my uncle, whose home was near school. My uncle had a daughter that I found home. However, my uncle's current wife was not her biological mother. She used to overwork us. We would do so many tasks like fetching water, washing clothes, and cooking food. If food was not ready in time, she would tell my uncle that we spent most of the time playing. There was this time when I had delayed to return home because I was playing netball at school. I found when she had left instructions for me at home to go to the garden and get food, fetch water, and then cook. We used to fetch water from a far distance. By the time I came back from getting water, it was very dark and my uncle found me peeling under the lamp. He shouted at me so loudly that I began to hate living with my uncle and his wife at the end of the third term. I never returned to their home. Did that punishment force you to change your behavior, or did it help enable you to learn how to behave? It forced me to change even schools. From the above narrations, we realized that punishment does not create room for learning proper behavior, but only forces people to change for fear of the pain caused by the punishments. Children can learn proper behavior only when their parents simply talk to them without using punishments. Going forward, is there a difference in how girls and boys are punished? Yes, ma'am. Yes, there is a difference. During my childhood, whenever we behaved badly, my mother would beat us more than her only son. She would always say that her son had to learn from us because we were older than he was. Yes, sir. Yes, there is a difference. The boys are punished by their fathers because of their physical strength, and girls are punished by their mothers. When girls hit puberty, parents tend to restrain from punishing them, but boys can be punished even when they are so mature. Let us discuss the difference between discipline and punishment in our various groups. When a child is punished, they tend to be distanced from us, the parents, and it becomes hard to draw that child close. However, when we discipline our children, they become closer and respond whenever called upon. My take on this discuss is as follows. There are some terrible punishments where parents terribly cane their children to the point of causing physical scars and other physical injuries which the children can never forget. Such punishments also cause the children to hate their parents so that they run away every time they see them and also think ill of their parents. Now, when it comes to disciplining a child, it involves a parent speaking to the children in a kind voice, using very soft and nice words, explain to the child about how badly they have behaved and how they can improve their behavior. Such a child will be encouraged to change their behavior. They will even love the parent more, and the parent will love them more for the change behavior. There is no change that occurs to children when they are punished. But children of these days are too indisciplined. The reason for them being too indisciplined is because parents are also very tough and strict. They do not have time to speak to their children about bad behavior or teaching them how to behave. If parents were responsible in the manner of constantly disciplining their children, many children would have been well behaved. Do you mean that the more we are strict and tough, the more our children become indisciplined? Yes, that is what I mean. I agree with her because if a parent caned a child and the parent did not explain to the child why they are being caned, the child might even be forced to run away from home and join bad peer groups. The next question, or second question, is what are the physical effects of punishments? The child may get broken bones, The child may get broken bones. The child may also run away from home.
There is love, there is peace in the family of the lovers. There is joy every day from the dawn till dusk. May our Lord grant you all the joy.
Describe the previous status of your marriage before joining this program. Before the program, my marriage was as translucent as a polythene bag. My wife was so secretive and would share very limited information with me. And someone else share. Yes, sir, you can please narrate how your marriage was before the program. My marriage was on the rock. It was as translucent as a polythene bag. Before the program, I thought I held more authority than my wife, and she, on the other hand, also thought she was better than me. But when we joined the program, our marriage is heading towards becoming as transparent as a bottle. Yes, ma'am. Facilitator, my marriage was worse than a polythene bag. It was actually as opaque as a paper. Before the program, we kept so many things from each other and never shared any information. At the start of the program, he didn't want me to even attend, but I persisted and would always share with him the lessons I had learned from the program. Additionally, my behavior kept changing, and once he realized I was a changed woman, he appreciated the program and encouraged me to attend more of the seasons. Tell us more of what had caused the marriage to be as opaque as a paper. The constant fight and quarrels generated a lot of conflicts until a point where there was no unity in the home. So what is the status of your marriage at the moment? Is it still opaque, translucent, or transparent? It slowly changed from being opaque to being translucent. And I can happily tell all of you that my marriage is now transparent and that I have never been as happy as I am now. You see, I became so humble towards my husband in a way that our communication to each other improved and we learned to make decisions together. I also learned to make requests to him without quarrels or complaints. When he had money, he provided for me. And when he failed to provide, I would understand his condition and would take it easy. What else changed? We no longer pull ropes as we used to do. What would cause you and your husband to pull ropes? There are so many aspects that may cause a couple to pull ropes. I know couples in this room know what I'm talking about. Let's clap for her once more. Thank you very much for your testimonies. Is there any other person who wants to testify? Okay, now that there is no other person, let me go ahead and explain these concepts for everybody here. A marriage that is transparent as a bottle means that couples share information and make their steps known to the other, like where one is going to, financial status, and other things, so that if a visitor come home looking for the husband, the wife can easily tell the visitor where the husband has gone to. Marriages that are translucent as a polythene bag are those where partners know a little about each other, as if they understand each other, as if they don't. For example, a husband can tell the wife where he is heading to, and when the wife asks to find out what exactly he would be doing whenever he is going, and the husband asks her about what she will do after knowing what he would be doing. And lastly, marriages that are as opaque as a paper are those where partners don't know anything about themselves. This can be related to a husband coming home for dinner and immediately goes to bed without saying anything, or where the wife does not even know what her husband does for a living. So there is no communication in this kind of marriage, and partners completely do not understand themselves. Let me ask this question. Has anyone ever visited another person and on reaching the place, the hosts close all the other rooms and leave only the sitting room open? Yes, I have. How did you feel? Please narrate to us what exactly happened. It was my step-grandmother's home. When I arrived, she locked all rooms and only left the sitting room open. She then left me home and went on her way to work. I got angry that I never stepped a foot again at that house. How did you feel when she did that? I was so angry because I felt like she did not trust me, as if I had come with the motive of robbing her. And that is why I never gone back to her home. I have never gone back to her home. Moving on to the next question. Has any of you lived in a home full of relatives, but when there is this particular relative who always closes a particular room to the point that when she or he enters that room and someone else wishes to speak to them, they immediately get out, close the room, and opt to speak from another room? Has anyone been in that situation? I can relate that to family parties where relatives gather at a particular home for a party and the host makes it impossible for them to access many rooms. Now, how does it feel? How does it feel? It feels bad, but I guess the host could have various reasons for that kind of behavior. I know they all have their reasons, but how would you feel for being denied access to those rooms? I would not feel offended because I would have come to visit and not access particular rooms. Okay, another person. What about you, madam? The only time I would be offended is when my husband does not allow me to access some rooms. However, I would not be offended if I visited someone and they denied me access to some rooms. For the case of my husband, it would reflect his distrust for me.
w'ebyakyawa Katonda oyo tuweeba tukuvu nga ye bayogera mu 1 Peter 1:16 Katonda ensi nnungi naye ate tetusula mu magwa erimu sukali ewoma n'okukira omubisi ogw'enjuki Pita omwoyo mutukuvu atuyambe ffenna tuwangule seno kyawandiikibwa kigasa ky'okulya ensi n'ofiirwa omwoyo kyanga omwoyo mutukuvu
okuva ku bajjajjaffe okusinga nako nafuna okusoomoozebwa nangamba.
Since the days of our forefathers, a man was not supposed to help out a woman in her daily chores. As a result, I had never helped out my wife with chores. For instance, she would wake up every early on Saturday and wash clothes almost the entire day, so she would get so exhausted. When I joined the program and heard what was discussed, I decided to help her with house chores, especially washing, hence improving our relationship. I used to leave home to go watch football matches and return home every late in the night. My wife did not appreciate this behavior, so I would escape to go watch the matches. However, I am now a changed man and respect the feelings of my wife. My name is Nalogo Aida. I also want to appreciate the program for changing my life and that of my family. I used to make my children do whatever I wanted them to do without considering how they felt. This kind of behavior destroyed my relationship with my children because they could never talk to me about anything. When I joined this program, I realized that my parenting style was not fair to my children. So I changed my behavior and we are now close to each other. My name is Nakinto Dafin. Before I joined this program, I had a very short temper, and whenever my husband would make a mistake, I would get so annoyed that I would think of doing the worst thing to him. I would also attack my children for the mistakes of their father, but when I joined the program, I learned to control my temper. As a result, there is peace in my home. Has your wife Daphne told the truth? Did she change? Yes, she has told the truth. She learned to control her temper. Has the program changed your husband? Yes, he also learned to control his temper because whenever he got annoyed, he would badly beat the children. But now, when the children annoy him, he comes to me and we discuss the way forward, something we never did before. My name is Francis. This program has helped me to put my family in order by enabling me to relate with my wife in the right way. I sincerely appreciate the program so much. My name is Sensolo Kurubwa Evesto. Before I joined this program, I was a heavy drinker, and this behavior had shattered my family. When I joined the program, I decided to quit alcohol, and now my family is improving. Your husband says he quit alcohol. What do you have to say about that? He did not quit as such, but he greatly reduced the amount he drinks. What about the constant fights with your wife and children? I no longer fight with my wife. I actually call her my baby. As for children, I have never beaten any of them in my life. It's their mother that used to beat them. I no longer beat them. I just use a little strictness, but no, they can. My name is Nakagwa Betty. I and my husband had made a name for ourselves in the village because of our constant fighting and quarrels. We would even extend the quarrels to the children. We did not have any peace, but when we joined the program, we stopped fighting and surprised the whole village. My name is Justin. Let me first appreciate the program for the changes it has brought in me. I never knew that a parent should have time to play with their children or visit at school to find out what they study. I was so strict that they had to do everything I wanted them to do. Additionally, I would lose my temper and run after my children so that they could get a beating. This would raise my pressure, hence affecting my health. When I joined the program, I learned to control my temper and improve my relationship with my children. My name is Paulina Nampija Nalongo. I used to be so mean to my husband that I never shared with him anything. I also used to beat my grandchild so much that he was unhappy at home. But when I joined this program, I learned how a woman must behave in her home. So I take care of my husband as never before and no longer beat my grandchild. I appreciate the program for improving the status of my family. My name is Marvin, and I live with my aunt called Nambuya in Bogobero. Before she joined the program, she was very strict and violent. She would send us to the garden without giving us anything to eat. But when she joined the program, she changed into a nice woman who helps us out with our chores, disciplines us instead of punishing us, and even plays with us.